There is a glass wall in this frame that spans 2 full floors. Behind it, Biscayne Bay turquoise and still. And beyond that, the Miami skyline floating on the horizon. This is not a view you buy. This is a view you inherit. 485 West Matheson Drive, Key Biscayne, a property with 862 feet of direct bay frontage. A private marina that once served as a presidential helipad and a glass elevator that appeared in one of the most iconic films in cinema history. 5 bedrooms, 9 bathrooms, approximately 13,500 square feet across 3 levels, built in 1981 on 2 acres at the edge of Biscayne Bay. And it is on the market right now for $237 million. Let's go! A presidential estate with a Scarface connection and 862 feet of private bay frontage. If that's the kind of property you want to see every week, subscribe. There's more coming. Before we go inside, you need to understand what this property actually is. That aerial frame tells part of the story. 2 acres on the bay with a marina platform so large it can accommodate yachts up to 200 feet in length. The property includes over 34,000 square feet of submerged land. There is no other holding in South Florida quite like it. Now, the history. This estate served as the winter White House of President Richard Nixon. Nixon chose Key Biscayne, chose this stretch of bay because of what you're looking at right now. Privacy water on 3 sides. And that marina, which once served as a presidential helipad, is still here. The second chapter of this property's legacy comes from Hollywood. The Frank Lopez residence in Scarface was filmed here. The original architectural elements are preserved, including the iconic glass elevator that appears in the film. This house has not just witnessed history, it participated in it. The grounds are the first thing that establishes the scale. That frame with the rolling lawn, this is not a waterfront lot with a sliver of grass between the pool and the seawall. This is 2 acres. There is space here that waterfront properties in Miami simply do not have. Mature tropical canopy, manicured hedging, a lawn that slopes gently toward the bay, the hardwood dock running along the bayfront, that detail matters. The property has approximately 862 feet of direct bay frontage. To give that number context, most ultra-premium waterfront estates in Miami trade between $10,000 and $30,000 per foot of frontage, current market data verifying. The frontage alone at those rates represents a significant portion of the ask before you count the structure, the marina, or the 34,000 square feet of submerged land beneath the water's surface. You haven't stepped inside yet, and the numbers already make sense. The marina is not a dock. That distinction matters. What you're seeing in this aerial frame is a concrete platform, serious marine infrastructure with rare 3-phase power and dockage for vessels up to 200 feet in length. If you operate a yacht of any meaningful size, this is one of the very few private holdings in all of South Florida that can accommodate it at your own property. And that platform sits above over 34,000 square feet of submerged land. This is one of Miami's most significant private waterfront holdings, full stop. The presidential helipad that once occupied this platform is gone. What replaced it is a private marina that functions at a scale most people associate with commercial marinas, not private residences. This property is not just a home on the water, it is a compound built to live on the water. The folding glass wall is the architectural decision that defines this entire home. Floor-to-ceiling panels, the full bayfront face of the main living level that fold completely open, eliminating the boundary between interior and exterior. When those panels are retracted, what you have is a 24-foot high open room with Biscayne Bay as its west wall. The marble floors are continuous. The same polished stone runs from the living room directly onto the terrace. The ceiling height is extraordinary for a residential structure. This is a volume that was designed specifically and deliberately to frame that view. Every seating arrangement on this floor is oriented toward the water. There is no wasted line of sight. And then there's the white grand piano positioned in that frame. It occupies the space the way a sculpture occupies a gallery, not incidentally, but with full awareness of its relationship to everything behind it. The Miami skyline, the turquoise bay, the folding glass wall. This room understands exactly what it is. Picture a Wednesday evening here. The panels are open, the piano is playing, the bay is darkening, Miami glitters across the water. There is no version of that evening where you want to be anywhere else. The cylindrical glass elevator in the main living room. This is the original element from the Scarface production. The design predates the renovation. This column of glass and steel has been here since the property's 1981 construction. and it appeared in one of the most culturally significant films in American cinema. It is not a reproduction, it is not a tribute. It is the original, and it still works, connecting every floor of this home, from the lower-level game complex all the way to the top. This is a property where the architecture has a biography. The formal dining arrangement sits directly in front of those folding glass panels. The view from the dining table is the Miami skyline across Biscayne Bay. There is no other orientation available. This house refuses to let you look anywhere else. The breakfast nook deserves attention. That round marble-top table, that mosaic piece on the right wall, an original Roman-style stone inlay tells you something about the sensibility of this house. It collects things, it carries weight. The bay fills the glass behind it. The kitchen is a working galley. Full stainless steel construction, open walnut floating shelves, a commercial-grade gas range with professional vent hood. This kitchen was built by someone who cooks seriously. The sub-zero column refrigerator, the double stainless sink, the beamed ceiling overhead. It is not a decorative kitchen. It functions at a professional level, and it connects directly to the dining wing and the bay beyond. The pool is shaped like a piano. That is not metaphor. The saltwater pool on this property has a curved silhouette that references the grand piano inside. This house has a consistent design language. It carries themes from interior to exterior, from architecture to landscape. At dusk, this pool terrace is one of the best places in South Florida. The palm canopy overhead, the sunset hitting the bay, yachts at the dock, the Miami skyline to the north. The pool is illuminated at night from below, turning the water a deep aqua green against the white of the estate's facade. This house is genuinely more beautiful after dark. The covered stone terrace runs the length of the main living level, large format pavers, built-in seating, outdoor dining capacity for large groups. The lawn slopes from the terrace toward the bay. The hedge line creates privacy from the dock pathway without blocking the water view. And from the bayfront terrace table that frame with the Miami skyline directly behind the outdoor chairs, that is one of the most direct expressions of what this property offers. You sit there on a Tuesday afternoon, and the city is your backdrop. The primary suite occupies the upper level with direct bay exposure. The coffered ceiling, that grid of recessed panels overhead, creates a formal calm that contrasts with the 24-foot volumes below. Sliding glass doors open directly onto a balcony. The bay and the Miami skyline are your first view every morning. The primary bathroom is one of the most architecturally unusual spaces in the home. That curved walnut vanity doesn't just run along one wall, it wraps the entire room in a continuous arc. Custom built, the natural stone countertops follow the curve. Clerestory windows above let in light from the garden canopy. The stainless soaking tub is positioned at the end of the curve. This bathroom was designed by someone who understood that a room can have a shape other than a rectangle. It has its own logic, and that logic is consistent. The upper level has a study with a view that most offices simply cannot compete with. That walnut live-edge desk is positioned directly at the glass railing, overlooking the double-height living room and through the full-height glass wall behind it. The bay and the Miami skyline. You sit at that desk and Miami is in front of you. The secondary living area on this floor functions as a transitional space, antique pieces, a walnut secretary cabinet, and agate wall sculpture. The terrazzo floors on this level pick up the light from the bay below. The house has a verticality to it that most waterfront estates don't. Each floor is a different relationship with the water, a different angle on the same view. Every bedroom in this home faces the water. That is not a coincidence, it is the organizing principle of the layout. The guest suite with the beamed ceiling has a sliding glass door that opens directly to a balcony over the bay. The second guest room has that curved architectural column, an integrated sitting area, Biscayne Bay through the glass. Even the rooms that are not the primary suite wake up to the same view. This is a home that was built so that everyone in it, guests included, understands exactly where they are. One level down is where this property stops being an estate and starts being a compound. The lower level game complex is the room where the current owners clearly spend real time. Leather sofas, a mounted marlin on the wall, a wooden scale model of a boat, a foosball table, a Kettler ping pong table, an arcade machine, a vintage orange refrigerator. This is not a designed for photographs entertainment room. This is a room that has been lived in hard by a family who spends time on the water and knows how to be home. And then there's the fishing rod room. One entire wall, floor to ceiling, is mounted fishing rods with reels. Dozens of them organized and ready. a dedicated tackle storage room adjacent. For someone who uses that 200-foot marina every week, this room is not a curiosity. It is infrastructure. One honest observation about this property: Key Biscayne is not Miami Beach. It is not Brickell. It is a barrier island connected to the city by a single causeway, and the drive from downtown Miami takes 15 to 20 minutes under normal conditions, longer during high season. That distance is the price of this kind of privacy, this amount of frontage, this scale of grounds on a single lot. For most people who would consider a property at this level, Key Biscayne is not a compromise. It is the reason the island functions as a natural boundary, and that boundary is the thing that made it attractive to a sitting president and to the current owners. If you need to be in the middle of Miami every day, this isn't that. What you're getting instead is 862 feet of private bay, a marina, 2 acres, and a historical record that belongs to no other address in South Florida. From this frame, the full-height glass wall, Biscayne Bay, the Miami skyline, this is what the property sells. But the property is more than that frame, approximately 13,500 square feet across, three levels, 5 bedrooms, 9 bathrooms, gym convertible to a 6-bedroom. A private marina with dockage for vessels up to 200 feet. 3-phase power. Over 34,000 square feet of submerged land. A piano-shaped saltwater pool. A game complex with dedicated fishing storage. The original glass elevator from Scarface. 862 feet of direct Biscayne Bay frontage on 2 acres. A documented history as the Winter White House. Asking price, $237,000 DeFi loan. There are properties in South Florida with more square footage. There are properties with newer construction. There is not another property in South Florida with this address, this frontage, this history, and this marina. Those things exist here and nowhere else. All right, I want to hear from you. Out of everything we walked through today, the main living room with the bay as your wall, the presidential marina, the Scarface glass elevator, the sunset pool terrace, or the lower level game and fishing complex, which single space would you actually spend the most time in? Drop it in the comments. I genuinely want to know. And if this is your first time here and you want to see properties like this every week, subscribe. We have more coming that you are not going to want to miss. See you in the next one.